Music makes the people come together, yeah. Okay. The other day I had a chat with my friend Maisie, who is a musician, who is also incredibly talented. Do go and subscribe to her, link down there somewhere. And I happened to mention that one of my favourite Taylor Swift songs was a song called Breathe. Full disclosure, after my last breakup, I was feeling fine and I'd made it through the whole day without any, emotions. Then I got on the bus, I pressed shuffle, Taylor came on, she sang Breathe, and I was like, how did you have a direct access to my heart? You're never too old or too alpha male to cry at Taylor Swift. Maisie is a huge Taylor fan and was thrilled that I was so keen on a song from the annals of Tay-Tay history. It sounds a bit hipstery to be like, one of my favourites is actually a deep cut, but it isn't really. You must have had it. You get an album, you always skip that one track, and then suddenly one day you don't, and you're like, oh my god, this is such a jam. Why have I been spending my whole life actively ignoring this piece of musical mastery? So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 of my favourite deep cuts. A deep cut is like a song buried in an album, or it's a B-side maybe. It's one that doesn't get single release or massive prominence, maybe is rarely, if ever, performed on tour. I should say straight away, you know how much I love pop music. These are all going to be fairly mainstream. I'm not going to be like, yeah, there's this Swedish folk artist who actually only uses the panpipes and tubular bells. No shit, but I do know what's in the charts and I like it. Just because something's mainstream doesn't mean it isn't good. First up, Janet, obviously. Her 1997 album, The Velvet Rope, is widely considered her sort of magnum opus. It is masterful. It features tracks that you definitely know even if you don't ascribe them to Janet, things like Got Till It's Gone, Together Again. This is an album full of interesting themes. She talks about social justice, so spousal abuse, gay rights. She talks about suffering a depression. She talks about love and sex. It's so good. But the specific track I want to tell you about is called Empty. Back in '97, the internet was just being born. It really wasn't a thing. And Janet was intrigued by the idea of people meeting online and forming a connection without ever really making contact. So the song is about an online relationship where you never can fully see someone or feel them or know what they're like. Beyond that, it's also constructed around sounds from a dialogue. Her producers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are heavy on samples and taking sounds from elsewhere and turning them into something else. So they took the sound of a dial-up modem and they cut it up, they spliced it in different places, and they turned it into a beat. It's disjointed, it's technological, and it's just so interesting. Second track I'm going to tell you about is by Madonna. It's from her 2008 album Hard Candy, and it's called Devil Wouldn't Recognize You. This is at a time where she, I think, was going through a divorce. There's another track on the album called Miles Away, which is all about how you only show me love when you're miles away. So there are a few songs on the album that are around that kind of I don't feel like I know you anymore, and Devil Wouldn't Recognize You is one of them. It's moody, it's dark, it has a pulsating rhythm, and it's surrounded by these swirling sounds. And she sings it in a voice that I feel is partly accusatory, but also partly wistful about the falling apart of a marriage and one person changing to the point where the devil wouldn't recognize you. By the way, the way I describe these tracks is my own personal response to the sounds and the words. You might find them completely different, and you might actually disagree with my description of that song in particular as swirling. That's just how I feel when I listen to it. It's art. There's no right answer, except for the one that the artist has. But even is that the right answer? I don't know if they would argue that it is. Who knows? It's up for us to interpret. And the final track is by the Spice Girls. Yeah, I'm trying to make people go, oh, come on, and then listen to the tracks and go, oh, maybe you've got a point. So the Spice Girls. The Spice Girls were around for a cup of coffee, but they made 3 albums worth of pretty, well, 2.5 albums worth. The first 2 albums were pretty solid. For them to become as iconic as they did in a short amount of time as they did, for them to have brought back pop music from a place where, frankly, it was dead, it's pretty impressive. It was pop, but it was unapologetically so, and it was good at it. I was a young, energetic kid who liked dancing. Of course, I was gonna like pop music when it was good. But the one I'm gonna talk to you about isn't actually a pop song so much. It's kind of an R&B tinged slow jam. It's called Naked. It's a song about a girl shedding her vulnerability and becoming a woman. The Spice Girls were, I think, between 18 and 23 when they recorded this album. So it's a very personal song about something that I'm sure they were all going through, about sort of knowing yourself and learning more about yourself and becoming more world-wise. There's an enigmatic quality to it, there's a mystery to it, and Mel C's middle eight is very nice. Mel C, you're just so good. Posh was my favourite, sorry. So yeah, those are 3 songs that, mainstream or not, you may never have heard of, and I'd love for you to give them a listen and tell me what you think. Also, share your own favourite deep cuts. Let me know your favourite unsung tracks. There's a play on words. It's always fun to hear new music. Thanks for watching. See you soon.